everybody. Welcome to First Glance with Jody Vance. This is a time where we spotlight companies for all investors, not just the high-end inside sort of trader types, but also the investor that's looking for a place to perhaps get in on the ground floor. Some companies that might be just at that prime spot to get into long-term with people who are very invested, pardon the pun, people who know what they're doing and perhaps breaking ground on something super cool. Our guest today is somebody that we spoke with recently. Ross McElroy is chairman of the board of SKRR Exploration, Inc. Ross, good to see you again.
It's great to be with you again, Jody. Thank you.
So let's just update those who perhaps didn't see the recent interview that I did with you to give an idea of what SKRR is. Again, it's on the Toronto Venture Exchange as SKRR, the stock symbol. SKRR Exploration, Inc. Summarized, how would you explain your company?
So let's summarize it. I would say we're a Saskatchewan-focused junior exploration company. So, we're looking to untap the great potential that we know is present in the province of Saskatchewan, great jurisdiction to be in. All of our properties are presently located in there. We are focusing on an interesting corridor called the Trans-Hudson Corridor, and it's really quite an important geologic feature that runs up through all the way through Saskatchewan. It's important because it hosts some of the world-class VMS, volcanic massive sulfide deposits, as well as world-class gold deposits. And so we're looking for new discoveries of giant world-class ore bodies, gold and base metal.
I love when you call it a junior company, because that's a term for those who aren't aware of investing. Being called a junior is sort of positioned as a company, but you are anything but junior when it comes to gold and uranium success in Canada. Give us a little 411 on who Ross McElroy is.
Sure, well, thank you. So I'm a geologist by background. I've been 35 years or so in the business. A great deal of my time has been focused on uranium and still does, and again, mostly in the province of Saskatchewan. I've also spent a good part of my career with the major mining companies such as BHP, Cameco, and involved with gold exploration, discovery, development. Really, if you look at me, it's uranium, gold, and diamonds. Actually, that's really the background. But at both the small company level, which is what SKRR is, we're an explorer, and all the way through to through mining operations with major companies.
So again, SKRR Exploration, Inc. is Ross McElroy's endeavor here, SKRR on the Toronto Venture Exchange. And Ross, give us an update now, because I did when we spoke. If you want more information on SKRR, please do either click up there or down there somewhere on this website. You'll be able to see our first conversation, but I asked you to promise to come back and update because you were doing some drilling, of course, and I wanted to hear some results. Have you received results from your latest?
So the latest program that we just completed was on our Manson Bay program. Now, Manson Bay, for people to give a little bit of context, it's in Saskatchewan, but it's located about 40 kilometers from the mining center of Flin Flon, which is right on the Saskatchewan-Manitoba border. So we're very close to Flin Flon. The Manson Bay project had some historic work on it and some really exciting high-grade gold discovery, and that's really what's called the Manson Bay Gold Zone. So we just completed 12 holes on this historic known zone, of which, by the way, the best results so far that have been encountered, 30 years ago, 10 meters at 15 grams, so half an ounce material for those who think in ounces, but that's very, very high grade and that's substantial width. So we completed a 12-hole program, drilling around within the known deposit, and even stepping outside of it and drilling on strike. All 12 holes were successful in encountering mineralization. So we're really pleased with the results. We've seen intervals, multiple stacked intervals, up to 26.5 meters wide. Assays are still pending. So, we always caution people to wait for the assays to come in. But from what we see, at first glance. We're really quite excited with the results from the 12-hole drill program. Yeah.
My dogs approve of you using first glance within first glance with Jody Vance. Well done. Bravo. First glance. But you got to wait for results. I mean, it is, speculating. It is searching for, it is, the literal gold rush. As you mentioned, 30 years ago, there was significant hits near Flin Flon. But I remember in our conversation last time, Ross, when you mentioned the fact that so often exploration like this are in far-flung countries or in the middle of nowhere. And Flin Flon is not an insignificant place on the map. I have friends who are from Flin Flon, for that matter. So there's something to be said for being, adjacent and accessible, safe, and give us a little bit of that story in the background on that.
Well, sure. One of the things that it provides, being near a center, means that you're close to road infrastructure. Flin Flon is a city. It's so it has the services that are required, and it's a mining oriented city. So services are really geared towards mining and exploration and development. But I think what it does is it really puts you near infrastructure, and that's what changes, let's call them remote projects, into being projects that are easier to develop. If you make a discovery, it's easier to take it forward along the pathway to development. So there's a lot of benefits for being near a mining center like Flin Flon, but I think the other benefit is just being in the province of Saskatchewan itself. This is a world-renowned mining district. The mining journal pegged Saskatchewan as being the #1 mining jurisdiction in the world.
Wow.
In 2020. So it's consistently ranked up there with the best mining jurisdictions, which means the government supports it. It is a resource-rich province. They want development, they encourage it, and there's really good, strong relations too with the local stakeholders and rights holders in the area, the local Indigenous groups.
So all of this is so exciting. Personally, as a born and raised Canadian, a Vancouverite for that matter, and many people wanting to invest in their own jurisdiction, in their own country, and wanting to learn. I did not know that Saskatchewan was one of the biggest, if not the biggest, on the planet, as you just stated. That is a fascinating stat, I have to say, Ross. Let me just reiterate here for people that are tuned in going, okay, wait, what's the stock symbol again? It is SKRR, symbol on the TSX-V. SKRR Exploration Inc. is the name of the company, and we're with the chairman of the board, Ross McElroy. And Ross, full disclosure, that other guru folks bought this stock after our last interview. That is a note that I have received from the bosses. So I just want to put that out there. I personally do not invest in any of those I interview here on First Glance with Jody Vance. And boy, I wish I hadn't made that rule so often. It's crazy. Anyway, but I'm excited by your story. And I'm also excited by the fact that gold demand is up, and as supply has waned in the last decade or so. So tell us a little bit about that position, because obviously you mentioned you've been in the industry for 35 years. So what are you seeing market-wise when it comes to gold?
Well, I think obviously the gold's in a very powerful place right now. Currently trading close to $1,800 an ounce US. It's been sort of range bound between, say, 1,900 and 1,700 over the last couple of years, but the last 6 months have really started to look like a bit of a breakout on the upside in the price of gold. So that's been going. As a long time worker in this business, in the sector, I do recall when gold was down to $200, $300 an ounce. This is not the environment we're in now. I think everybody expects that the price of gold will continue to rise, and it's a global phenomenon. There are supply shortages of it, but gold is always seen as a hedge, in the economies, and particularly with some of the struggles we've seen over the last couple of years, globally speaking. I think gold's going to take a dominant place in being a back investment product for the economy.
What's the term? The new gold rally is underway, is what I'm being told, as opposed to a gold rush, a gold rally.
I think that's correct. Yeah.
Well, you know what, Ross, this is super interesting. I want to ask just one more question before I let you go. When it comes to looking back over the last now 20 months, 20 plus months of the COVID-19 pandemic, how has that impacted your industry? And as a geologist, when it comes to keeping the wheels turning, if you will, when it comes to the necessities, people talking about supply chain and what have you, has that impacted mining at all?
I think it's probably affected everybody, being able to get supplies in. We've been pretty fortunate. I think, we're so used to planning in advance of doing work that, we're not generally caught off guard anyways in this business. We're usually a few months in advance of doing work. We've already got the wheels in motion for operating, but, it has been a challenge. But I think on the positive side, for whatever those challenges have been, it's been a real boon for the commodity sector. The price of metals, be it gold, be it copper, be it nickel, zinc, uranium, they're all up, and that's really been the tail market. And I think a lot of excitement to the mining sector, particularly in the last 2 years. And my belief is that is going to be a continued trend upwards for pretty much most of the commodities.
All right, Ross, if people are looking for more information about SKRR Exploration Inc., how do they find it? What's your website?
Our website, SKRRresources.com. So, please come and visit us. We're happy to have you visit the site and get in touch with us. Send an email to the group. There's an info email address there, and we're happy to always talk to investors.
All right. Well, I look forward to our next chat, Ross. Thanks for being here, and come back soon.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you very much, Jody. It's a pleasure.